Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped. Something.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny. I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things. Of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
I would like to give you a little, that's not too much, but a little kind of pencil in a little backstory of my life, just because it would be easier for me then, I think.
Great.
So, and the only thing, my whole childhood and adolescence was very traumatic. And it's the really big traumatic bang that kind of then led into that this whole childhood was traumatic was when my narcissistic, mentally disturbed, not to be trusted mother abducted me and my sister and took us away from the only stable parent we had, which was my father, who wasn't perfect either, but he was much more stable than her, and he had actually been our caretaker.
Uh-huh.
And he took us with just the clothes we had on our back. So that was, friends, toys, bed, dad, everything just disappeared, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she took us to her parents' house across the country, a house where she had grown up and which had been incredibly dysfunctional. She had a really almost sexual relationship with her dad, right? I don't know if it ever was kind of blossomed, but there was this weird relationship. So that was where she put us, right?
Okay.
To traumatize kids. And then a year later, my grandmother, who was so depressed because her daughter came home, that was the whole reason. My grandmother was depressed, but she threw herself on the river and killed herself. So and after that, we were kind of left, we kind of tried to take care of ourselves, right? Because there really weren't any grown-ups there. And so I don't want to say more about it because I worked on this in therapy. So it's not like I have to go into that, but I'm just saying it just as a basis for all the fears that I have, even today, 62 years old. It's triggered, right? It are still fears that are triggered from from that time.
Yeah.
And that's, I react, often I react, I react from the past, right? And I have, for example, like last time we did a wonderful job. I want maybe at the end, but I want to tell you something, something real. I mean, I can tell you that too, because my reactions after after that session, I say that after I'm saying this, let me say this first. So we worked with, it was kind of the fear of being labeled as selfish and evil, right? So that's all my fear stems from some kind of deprivation, that this little girl didn't get what she needed. So that's one fear. And then there are kind of sister fears. I call them sister fears just because I'm a woman. The fears of being overwhelmed, that I have to withdraw.
Mm-hmm.
Fears of unpredictability. So I have to kind of organize my life so that it becomes as predictable as possible, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the one I think I want to work on today, because it has actually come up it has been there ever since my daughter was little, and she's now 22, but it's the fear of being enmeshed in another person. That was my mother, because she took everything. She was so narcissistic. She was this vampire. There was no space for me. And I realized that I have some of that fear I've had with my daughter, and I have that, and I have that fear now. And for example, when she was little, I felt that there was no space for me. A lot of mothers feel that. I mean, it's not unnatural to, your kid takes everything. But I think mine came with my baggage. Just to put it that way, not to put any label on it. It came with my baggage, right?
Yes.
So I felt, that I didn't have the right to have anything for myself. But then I couldn't live by it, and I'm a runner. So for example, we were traveling, just the two of us, and I snuck out early in the morning for a run just to get a release. Mm-hmm. And I felt so guilty. I left my daughter alone, and she didn't know what if she woke up.
Yeah.
And then the whole day I was kind of compensating. Then but then I at least gotten a little release so that I could be that kind of mother for her, which kind of selfless mother, more not totally selfless, but but I felt like I was so stuck that if I hadn't gotten those little releases by going out for a run, which kind of made me punish myself the whole day, I was really bottled up. And it's coming up now because I'm moving. I think I said this last time, but it's not something that you remember. It's that I'm moving into a 1-bedroom apartment, and I'm creating a partition wall
right
in the living room for her, and she's not happy about it. And I am going to do it, but I feel super guilty because I'm kind of enmeshed in that she should have priority. She's 22, right? Mm-hmm. She should still have priority. And then I'm so scared of her anger. She had an anger problem when she was young. Uh-huh. And it's like, it's almost like I'm the little one. So it's so, but okay, so all this is, it comes from a different place, right? And so what I really want, because I have all this, what do you call them again? It's trauma bonds, right? With my original family, but I almost have a trauma bond with my daughter. But I created that, and even if people say that you can't really change trauma bonds because you with innocent party. This one, I really hope I can change. Okay. I really want to find that. What I really want is to get to let that part of me that, I don't know, feels this enmeshedness, if that's even a word.
Sure.
And feels kind of the fear of her reactions.
Yes.
And for that part to get some kind of release. So I can release my relationship with my daughter from the past. So that's probably what I want, right?
Okay. Yeah. So the fear of the enmeshment and the fear of her reaction. So I guess the fear of pulling away in any way, is that the reaction that, of becoming unenmeshed? That's when the fear of her reaction comes up?
Well, it's the fear.
Or putting up boundaries?
Okay. Yeah, it's me putting up, let's see, when you're little, however awful your parents are, you are dependent on them, right?
Yes.
So in my relationship with my mom, I was dependent on her, but she kind of plucked everything from me. But it was a codependency, because it's like a lot of kids, who suffer emotional abuse. You become the parent, right? You try to kind of satisfy their needs.
Yes. Yes.
So with my daughter, it's also enmeshed in, I don't exactly, it's not the same, of course, it's not the same, but it has these elements sometimes that in my feelings, she threatens me. She's taking things away from me, right?
Right.
Because she has priority. And, let's say I love my daughter, okay?
Sure.
I don't think I'm a terrible mother. I'm definitely not a perfect mother, but I don't think I'm be the one taking care of her. My house, but I have, I could have been better, and I'm pretty sure that she will go in therapy for the things that I didn't do. But that's different. That's for her, right?
Yes.
But basically, so it's what I really want is to release, find some kind of peace.
Yes.
With that, that is not threatening. Okay, so of course she wants things from me. I mean, she's totally dependent on me for money, for example. I pay for her college, blah, 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 right? So and that's fine. With money, I'm fine. I've never really been attached to money. So if I have it, then that's it's. But let's say, but on some level, her presence. On some level, her presence threatens me. That she can, it's like her judgment threatens me. Her dissatisfaction threatens me. If she's in a really good mood, I blossom, right? If she judges me, I feel super lonely, right?
Right.
It has this really strong impact. Her moods has a really strong impact on me, and I have worked on it, so it has been even more, but it still has. So and I know there is a little me, or maybe there are more, at the bottom of this yarn. If we can unwind it, that is saying that has a need and is saying something that I don't know. I don't know what that little me is saying.
Yes. Okay.
So that's where I want to go.
Great. That's really great. Thank you for sharing all that. And I hear that. I hear that little you, I believe, that exile that might be behind that. So yeah, we can explore that and hope to get there and unburden it.
Yes. But before we start, I want to say that since last time,
Mm-hmm.
I have been more able to stay with myself when it wasn't comfortable.
Yeah.
And be compassionate with it. I my sleep is not good. Sometimes it's really not. Sometimes it's bad. But it's definitely not good. I'm a very light sleeper. I wake up a lot of the night during the night, and a couple of times I woke up during the night. I was waking up with this fear, and instead of kind of trying to think about something else, or I sat up in bed, sat on the side of my bed, and I was meditating, just letting it be.
Mm-hmm.
And both times, I got to a place of compassion, even if I didn't fully understand it. I got to a place of compassion for that fear.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I was able to say to myself, "I'm safe. Now you can go back to sleep." And I did fall back to sleep both times.
Yeah, that's so nice to hear.
So, yeah, I've been much more aware. It's like, because that is the last thing I'm going to say. Because of course, because of everything that happened to me, I developed all these coping mechanisms to not feel right. It's like I could have probably gotten. Dissociation was probably my main one. I had lots of holes in my memory. And then numbness, defensiveness, sometimes anger, so just not to feel, right? All this not to feel. So this is, I've been much more able to kind of just be there with it.
Yeah, and to be there with it compassionately rather than more so than just the mindful witnessing, but the actual
it's more. Yeah, exactly. At first I have to feel it and kind of just let it be there, but then it's kind of morphs into.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations. Sounds really, really nice.
Thank you. And I'll stop. I've been talking enough.
It's okay. All right. So the fear of your daughter's reaction, is that where we're starting?
The fear that on some level, she's a threat to me.
Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. And where do you notice that when it happens? Where do you notice it in or around your body?
I think I tighten my stomach, so it's kind of in my navel area and a little bit above. It's kind of it's very tight. It's kind of this knee-jerk tightening and not breathing in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And right now, how are you feeling towards it as you notice it there?
The first thing that came up was actually sadness. I was sad that it was there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So sadness about it being there?
Sadness about it being, it was like, what? It was sadness, and it was a little hopeless. Like,
right.
why does it have to be there? I think it's more hopeless than sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That this part would feel hopeless about this feeling that I'm sure has been with you for so long.
Yeah, and then I pushed it down a lot, and I don't want to push it down anymore.
Yeah. Okay. See if you can turn to that part that's feeling hopeless about it and ask it for a little space so that you can get to know this other part. Just see how it responds to that.
It isn't ready to give me space yet. It's kind of almost like it's pointing the finger at me and saying, should. She's your daughter. You shouldn't feel that way.
Right. Okay. That's okay. This part is welcome. How do you feel towards it as it points its finger at you and has this hopelessness feeling?
I feel like it doesn't see me. It's seeing me through kind of, it's judging me on without, it's not seeing me, it's judging me, if that makes sense.
It makes sense to me. See if there's anything you can do to kind of reveal yourself to it. You might even think about stepping in front of it or putting your hands on its shoulder or any way that you can kind of show it who you are.
It's almost like I want to stand in front of it and scream and say, see me.
Okay.
It reminds me of, I think I was 12 or 13, I don't remember, but I was yelling at my grandfather because I was trying to convince myself, but I was trying to convince him that it was okay to be selfish. Because it's okay to be selfish. And he was just staring at me like I was an alien.
Yeah. Okay, so rather than trying to convince this part of anything, that's not, when I was talking about revealing yourself, it's really just showing it that you're there and that you're open to listening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I'm open to listening.
Okay, great. Yeah, so just ask it what it wants you to know.
Tough one.
And let it know that it doesn't have to, it can share with you how it wants to share with you. It doesn't have to be in any rational or, it doesn't even need to be shared with me. But just see if you can learn about what it wants to tell you.
I don't know if this is what it's saying or if this is kind of my adult mind that is saying this, but what I'm hearing is Oh, I lost it. It disappeared like a white. I think it's saying that it understands where all this is coming from, but it's afraid that if I act on it, it's so strong. I could do something I regretted.
Yeah. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does make sense to me.
Yeah. Let that part know that that makes sense to you.
Sense.
And see if you can learn more about that fear, the concerns that it has if it didn't do what it does.
I think it's afraid that I'll become like my mother.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I've tried not to be during it's like I tried so that has kind of been very exhausting, trying not to be like her towards
Yeah, it sounds
my daughter.
exhausting. Is this part feeling exhausted also?
Yeah, it's exhausted. It's very tired.
Yeah, let it know you see that. And you get how tiring that would be.
Yeah. So afraid of finding my mother in myself. Of course she's there. I mean, it's
I hear that that's its fear is finding those aspects of your mother in yourself.
yes.
And I also want to just, if I may, kind of raise a flag that in IFS, as I've studied it, we don't usually describe it like that. We don't say, "Oh, my mother's in me. This is my mother talking." You have parts. Your mother had parts, and there may be a lot of resemblance. So maybe I'm being pedantic, but
no.
you might reassure it. You might just reassure it that
no, they're my parts. They're my parts.
That's right.
But they are parts that could hurt in a similar way that she hurt me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. So just let it know that you see that.
Yeah, I do see that.
And it wants to keep you from activating those parts, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's serving in kind of a protective role. Yeah. See if you can just show it some appreciation for its intention and keeping you from hurting people.
Yeah, I am in that. And then it is saying something else.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's more like it's saying that by keeping me from activating those parts,
Mm-hmm.
it was hoping that I would do the right thing.
Okay. Does that make sense, what it's referring to?
It does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But now I start feeling I don't know which part I'm feeling compassion for, but I'm feeling compassion for a part that had as a role model what I had.
Mm-hmm.
And was so afraid of activating those parts. But in a way was kind of fumbling in the dark because there wasn't anything else to hold on to. I could hold on to those parts because those were familiar, right?
Right. Yeah.
But that I couldn't activate because then I was afraid something terrible would happen. I was trying. It was almost like I've been stumbling through. It's like I feel compassion for that, trying to
do the right thing.
To do the right thing, whatever the right thing is, without having any compass, just knowing what I thought was what I thought was wrong and what I didn't want to do.
Right.
But not having the intuition, because of course, as a trauma kid, I didn't learn to develop my own intuition.
Yeah, and is it pointing to a time in childhood when it feels like that was strongest, or that it had to really do that the most, or does it feel like it's linked to a specific age or time?
I mean, it all started when I was 6.
Check that out with the part to see if that's. Because rather than saying the story, just check that out with the part. If it's kind of feels like it's protecting a 6-year-old who's trying to do the right thing without having all the resources.
No, I don't think that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, ask it more about the doing the right thing.
It's more like it's more like searching in the dark, because there was no voice inside me that felt the trust that this is the path to take. You can never be certain about anything, but when you act, when you walk down a path, at least in that moment, if you have a choice, that's what feels like the right thing, and then something happens and it's not the right thing anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But what I feel compassionate about is it was so much stumbling, because even for shorter period of time, there wasn't kind of this thing inside myself that said,
yeah,
now you're eating.
Yeah,
that's kind of so that grounding. You can understand what I mean?
Yeah. And so have you showed it that compassion, and is it receiving that?
But the thing is, I don't know which part I'm feeling. I feel compassion towards that, but which part is it? Is it that part we have, the hopeless part, or is it another part?
You could try asking it.
Yeah.
what part it is. You might see if it has kind of an age about it, or if it has a strong specific message or emotion about it.
I think. I think it's 13.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
And
when
is
I
it?
was, yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, when I was 13, I remember it vividly. I'd been at a party, one of the few parties I went to, and I was looking at myself in a mirror. And I saw budding curves, and I got scared.
Mm-hmm.
And I became super anorexic. I was not going to become a woman like my mother.
You just show that part that you see that.
Yeah.
You see that.
It
burden.
was kind of on a threshold from being a kid to kind of an age where you kind of claim more freedom, right? Because you have the capabilities, but also because it's hormonal, right? It's
Just stay with the part. Show it that you see that you see its experience of looking in the mirror, of having that fear, and how hard that was for it.
it couldn't face. There's a lot of things it couldn't face. It couldn't face all the unknown. You know,
Yeah.
what would happen now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was almost like it knew that things couldn't things would change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if I don't remember having any clear thoughts about A or B or C, but I think it was this fear of things are changing,
Yeah.
and I wasn't up for it.
Right. And maybe you weren't. I mean, that the self that you are seeing this part with now may not have been available at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You didn't have all these resources and this.
Of course
It just wasn't available.
Yeah. No, it was more automatic. It was all automatic. It was kind of that was what I did. The red button went on and
right. It just may not have been safe. It may not have been safe to be that way.
Yeah.
And so you can just let it know that you see that and show it that compassion. And show it who you are now, your real age. And just let it know that it can tell you anything else it wants to. That you're there to listen and learn about it and its experience.
No, I don't know where to go.
Okay. Well, how did it receive that? Were you able to let it know that? And
Yes, I still don't 100% sure who I'm talking to though. I know I'm talking to that 13-year-old, but I don't know what she
she may just be a 13-year-old.
she may, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Let's just be a 13-year-old.
Yeah. And let her know that she can be whoever she wants to be or is around you. And maybe that any part that wants to figure it out or give it a label, you can ask those parts to step back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ask her if she feels like you understand her and understand her pain or experience.
Yeah, I think she does. I think she feels I understand her.
Okay, just check with her because you said I think.
Yeah.
So just check with her.
No, she yeah. She's nodding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Great. Could try asking her if there are other parts that she protects.
Oh, yeah. She's saying she's protecting my life force.
Okay.
It almost feels like it's telling me that when she was 13, well, she is 13. She was afraid that all those wants that she had buried when she was much younger, they were now going to come up.
Right.
She didn't feel capable of handling them.
Right.
So she pushed them down again.
Yes. Yes. So she also has a somewhat of a protective role. If it feels okay with you, you could ask her, what are those wants? What are those things she pushed down? Again, you don't have to share any of it with me. But just see if you can learn from her about some of those feelings or wants that she was pushing down.
Yeah, I could feel into that.
Yeah, you're getting some
I get
getting
it.
a
Yeah.
response. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I get a response.
Yeah. And are you okay feeling all that, what she's showing you now?
Yeah.
Great. Let her
I
know
am.
that. Let her know that you are totally fine
Yeah,
with
I'm totally
with
fine.
witnessing that. Mm-hmm. That those parts are okay with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that if you were to go to them, that they'd be safe with you.
Yes.
Mm. Yeah. Just see how she responds to that.
She's still afraid of letting them out.
Yeah. You might just remind her that, going to parts and learning about them doesn't mean that you're
That's right.
that you're embodying them, and like just like you're doing with her now. You're seeing her memories, and you're witnessing her, and you're creating a space and a relationship with her.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not overwhelming you or going to cause you to, I don't know,
Explode.
Yeah. But also, validate her fears and stay with that and see what else, you might learn about that, or if she has specific concerns.
I think her this is what it feels like. It feels like her concern is more if she gives it space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's okay. This is really hard. It's really hard to just give it space, because immediately, if she gives it space, then comes an expectation that something is going to happen, something good is going to happen.
Mm.
And if that good thing doesn't happen,
That's sad.
well, it will be
Right.
more than sad, because that will mean that all kinds of the hope that she has been having inside her for this good thing,
there
won't be any hope left. What do you do if you don't have hope?
Yeah, that makes sense. See if you can just show her appreciation for that. She's looking out for your system, right? She doesn't want you to descend into hopelessness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's fine. We're going to respect her concerns. We're not going to push past any protectors or any parts that have concerns. And you getting to know her is just as valuable and important as getting to know those other parts. So there's no rush, and you can't do this wrong.
But I think that, that's that theme, hopelessness.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where a lot of my parts are stuck.
Yeah. Yeah. How is she enjoying just being able to communicate with you like this? I mean, how is it for her?
You know, it's kind of painful for her in a way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because she isn't revealing that much. It's all she's holding. She is. It's almost like she's full of something, right?
Yeah. 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 Yeah, she's holding back a lot. She's holding back these feelings, and she's got a big job to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm guessing you can check this with her, that she doesn't have a very high level of trust with you, that she can just quit her job or change her role and that everything will be okay. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
But I also think, I use the word think a lot. It's also almost like she doesn't know how to, it's okay. It's almost like well, it's not almost, it is like she doesn't know how to just put it on the table so we can see it. Because
it's okay.
It's because it's almost like doing that then it's almost like that becomes really intense, because then she will be close to everything that she's hoping for.
Yeah.
And that she's and if you and that she does and she doesn't trust she can get, right? She'll be close. So yeah.
Just let her know you see that. Again, we're not going to push her. And it is intense. I mean, what we're doing here it's intense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's holding back. Yeah, there's a lot of mistrust there. That I don't know if it's a mistrust of me. Maybe it's mistrust of me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe for other parts too. She has concerns about other parts that, makes sense. Just let her know that's fine.
Oh, how to put it? It's like if she doesn't think I can help her.
Yeah.
She doesn't think
Maybe let's ask her what she would rather be doing.
Right now?
If she didn't have to work so hard, if she didn't have to hold those parts back, if she could trust, what would she rather be doing with her energy inside of you?
Oh, she would laugh.
Mm-hmm.
She would put on a pretty dress and she would kind of twirl around.
Mm-hmm.
She would hug a lot. She would go around hugging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds nice.
Yeah. And then she would just lay back and just do nothing.
Yeah. And try asking her how old she thinks you are. And just wait for the answer.
She said 45.
Okay. So she's off by some,
Yeah.
right?
She's off by some.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That was a weird number. I didn't think. That was a number that came.
You might just check that out. Was there something going on at 45 where she maybe felt like she had to work a little harder?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was it? Okay, so I became mother when I was 40.
Mm-hmm.
So my daughter was 5 then.
Mm-hmm.
She could be mean then. Oof.
Daughter started being mean at 5.
She had an explosive temper. Poor
Yeah.
little girl.
And this part inside of you was reacting to that?
Yeah, and I was trying to cover it up, and I was trying to just be calm.
Yeah.
And sometimes she could act out in public, something I would never do.
Yeah, and that really triggered this part.
Oh,
This 13-year-old.
I became so small, and it was like, I felt for her, but it was so hard.
Yeah. So.
I never punished her.
That's when this 13-year-old felt like she didn't trust you, I guess, to handle it, and she was getting more activated by all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 to
Just
7.
let her know you see that.
Yeah.
And show her your real age. And show her that she doesn't need to protect from that anymore.
Yeah, that's gone. That's over.
Yeah. And I wonder if those parts in you that she's holding down, if they're also maybe around that age, or parts that have those same kind of emotions that your daughter was having.
In me, yeah. The thing is, I didn't act it out, I had it all inside.
Because she was doing a great job.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I had all of that inside me.
Of course.
But the thing is, I had a little sister who was 2.5 years younger, and she acted it out on me because there were no adults around. So I became the enemy of my little sister.
Wow. So you've shown this part now that your real age.
Yeah.
You've shown her that you see the connection. You see you see her concerns about the parts in you, the parts in your daughter.
Yeah.
And then it makes sense to you.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
And that you would love to see her in that dress laughing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It brings a smile on my face.
Yeah.
But they're just carefree, It's a cliche, but
it's So just let her know that she can have that. She can have that.
Yeah.
It's gonna take you going to these other parts and helping them out, and you don't expect her, or asking her to change who she is or the role that she's doing without you proving to her that you can unburden parts. So just let her know that.
Yeah. Oh, I wish that for her.
Yeah, great. what does she need from you going forward?
It feels like she needs me to continue to reassure her. That's what I want for. That I want her to be.
Yeah.
Just. It's weird for me. It's hard to use the word carefree because it's something I've never been.
Mm-hmm.
It's like carefree. My goodness, how could it? I've kind of really. It's like a helium balloon.
Yeah, and you can let her be carefree without you.
Yeah.
Abandoning all your responsibilities, right?
Yeah. No, I wish she could just.
Yeah, she's worked hard enough, long enough, especially for a 13-year-old.
Yeah, just that she could just soak in and just feel enjoy without thinking about consequences and responsibilities and let's use the word carefree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think I've never written. I don't think I've never written. That is a word. I never put on paper.
Yeah. Yeah, she can have that word.
Yeah, I think she needs me to come back and reassure her often that that's what I want for her.
Yes.
So she doesn't
That sounds like a wise move, and that I believe that's what pretty much all parts need. They haven't had this contact with you. They haven't had this. They don't have the trust. They don't have the relationship. They don't know what, they have no reason to change and to trust so quickly. So that's usually what they need is just to be revisited and to be reassured. And so you can ask her what that would look like for her, for you. There's 100 different ways to do it, but whatever works for her. How would she like to be reassured?
I think she would like me to reassure her in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And at least twice a day. If I could do it more, that would be good. But at least soon after I get up, or even before I get up.
Yeah, how do you feel like hearing that? Does that feel doable? Does that feel like something you're looking forward to, or?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I mean, to wake up and say, "Good morning, how are you?"
Yes, that's right. That's absolutely right.
Yeah,
that's right.
And good night. I hope you sleep well tonight.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, this was it went total different direction than I had. Well, how could I anticipate anything? But I didn't know that I would get to where I was 13 because. I've seen the struggle, but I haven't tried.
You haven't seen the people who are struggling in you?
I've seen this 13-year. Okay, so good put it this way. I've seen what happened to that 13-year-old, and it has kind of been like a tragedy.
Right.
Something I couldn't do anything about. It was
it's just your history. It's a story.
Yeah, it's a story. It was a tragedy.
And it's like when you first started talking with me, and this is normal, you're saying, "Oh, I know why I'm like this because this happened, and that's why I'm like this." And that's the typical, that's how we learn to see ourselves.
Yeah.
This happened to me, and that's maybe be this way, and it's kind of the story. Instead of seeing that, oh, these parts are alive. They're in me. I can communicate with them. I mean, it's such a completely different paradigm. And it's not about erasing the story or anything like that. It's just about reconnecting with these parts that have been abandoned, have been exiled, whatever they've been. Just bringing them back in and showing them who you are and taking some of those burdens away from them. Earning their trust so that you can lead them.
And like I have I feel very comfortable relating to young children, to kind of speak to them and play with them. But I am scared of teenagers.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know how to relate to teenagers. I mean, if I meet a kind of a group of teenagers, I feel awkward.
I have the same. I'm the same. I can play with young kids all day long, and I've always had difficulty and been kind of awkward around teenagers. And doing IFS and getting to know my own inner teenagers has done more for me in that than anything.
Yeah. Because I never, because for me that has kind of been a Greek tragedy, right? Mm-hmm. Like I lost my teenage years because of what happened. Tragedy written by Sophocles or whoever.
Yeah. But yeah, you can give back some of those years by again unburdening this part and getting to that place where she can be carefree. But
if I'm on a distance from teenagers, I just can look at them and observe them and I don't have to have anything to do. I can just be kind of an observer. I think that's pretty cool,
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know how to interact with them.
Yeah. Well, now's your opportunity. It sounds like you're going to have all kinds of opportunities to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what this part suggested is exactly the right move, is to just check in a couple times a day.
Yeah. If she wants to do something outrageous, I'll let her do it because she's going to do what she wants.
Yeah, that's right. So, how's it all feeling now?
It's... I feel I'm on the... Well, I already learned something, but I feel I'm on the cusp of getting... kind of opening a door, right? And I don't know what's behind it. It's intriguing.
Yeah.
And I also kind of very surprised. It's like, It's surprised in a good way. It's like,
yeah,
that was fun. I didn't know it was going to happen.
Yeah. And just remember that we can always go at your pace. There's no, you may not know what's behind the door, but you also don't have to just fling it open and jump in there. We can. We'll always check in with protectors. We'll always just go at whatever pace feels right for you and for them.
Yeah, no, this is really cool. Thank you, James.
Thank you. You're doing great.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, I'm looking forward to hearing how it goes.
Yeah, something will happen. I don't know what, but
I think so.
Yeah, it will. It will. Okay.
All right. Have a great night. I hope to hear from you soon.
You will.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Good night. Bye.
Good night.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows, that might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube, and they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.